Dear students, today we are going to learn about modified Proctor test. It is different slightly from standard Proctor test as there is a difference between the hammers, their drop and their weight. So here the two hammers are given. So this is with respect to the modified Proctor test, and we have to consider 5 layers here, and in standard Proctor test we have considered 3 layers. All the layers same, we have to give number of blows 25. So in this procedure, it was developed during the World War II by the US Army Corps of Engineering, and for the better representation of the compaction required for airfield to support heavy aircraft. So in the World War II, dear students, air war was more prominent, and for that the airfield pavement was the major project was to be developed, and for that compaction was very important to build the runway. So, and for that particular good reason, the very good Proctor test was needed, and it was developed in war. So that's why it is said to be modified Proctor test. So when you see that there are aircrafts and the taxiways and the runways are to be developed, the heavy weight of the aircraft is to be going to run on the runways. So that's why a good testing was to be achieved. So the test is with respect to the modified Proctor test itself, but the soil is compacted in 5 layers, as in standard Proctor test there were 3 layers, and the height of the hammer was near about 4.5 kg, and it was near about 2.5 to 3 kgs in the standard Proctor test, and the drop was near about 4.572 centimeter. So that is what it was required. So this was the uniformly distribution of the blows over the surface. So this is your mold, and this is how the first 9 to 10 blows were given. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, in center 5, then in between 1 and 4 6, 2 and 3 7, 1 and 3 8, and 4 and 2 9, and after that consecutively layers by layers we have to give this type of number of blows 25. Then the amount of energy is to be calculated. So what is the test procedure? Firstly, you have to take the mold weight, then you have to take layer by layer the soil weight. Now you will compact it in 5 layers. You will attach the dolly and again compact it. Then dolly is removed, the upper layer is cut with a knife or any other fine equipment, that will be your weight 2, and some of the amount of soil is kept in oven for water content optimization. And after you get the number of trials, then you have to plot a graph between water content and dry density. So when you are comparing it, the first curve you are getting it by standard Proctor test, and you are getting gamma D max and optimum moisture content, and again when you do it for modified Proctor test, you are getting again gamma D and gamma D max and optimum moisture content, and also the zero air void line. So there is the difference between these two tests. You are getting the major effects for standard Proctor test if you are going to take a deep study of soil and with respect to airfield pavement. Otherwise, if there is any type of buildings except skyscrapers, you can go for standard Proctor test. Then what are the factors affecting the compaction? So first is the water content of the soil. As you know that water content plays a very vital role in any of the soil test. So this is the first and major test you need to learn. So as the water is added to the soil, what it reacts with the soil particles and they move to one another. When you compact, they move to one another and the compaction takes place by the bonding of the soil particles. So what will happen, the voids which are present in the soil will reduce as the grains of soil are coming together to each other, and therefore the density of the soil is increased, which is known as your dry unit weight or dry density. Then when we consider the water content below OMC, optimum moisture content, there will be some films or you can say vacuum created around the soil particles. Okay, so the volume of the soil particles is increased and again the orientation of the soil particles takes place in a denser medium. When the water content is at the OMC, that is optimum moisture content, the density is maximum and it does not increase any further because it has achieved its large stage. ठीक है, कॉम्पैक्शन करेंगे तो एक लिमिट के बाद सॉइल कॉम्पैक्ट नहीं होगी क्योंकि मैक्सिमम वॉइड्स जो है वो रिड्यूस हो चुके हैं, वाटर उसका निकल चुका है, एयर उसके अंदर की निकल चुकी है, तो इससे ज़्यादा कॉम्पैक्शन नहीं होगा और जब कॉम्पैक्शन कम हो जाएगा तो उसकी डेंसिटी भी कांस्टेंट रहेगी. When the water content is above OMC, what will happen? The soil particles in the mold and dry density starts decrease. Why is it so? Because water molecules will take position in the air voids and that will cause the decrease in dry density. So this is how is your water content and dry density is there, and this is with respect to the compaction. Then is the soil type. When you are having the soil, which type of soil you are considering plays an important role. So the soil type is most important, whether it is granular or it is circular, it is elliptical, what type of a soil is there, that plays a most important part. Then you have a grain size. Grain size means soil type only. Then shape of the soil, grains, amount and type of clay minerals present and the specific gravity of the soil solids. So what does it mean, grain minerals? Which type of mineral is present in the soil? Clay mineral, that is kyanite, alite or montmorillonite. So that we need to study, which is having a very good or bad impact on the soil particle, which will try to increase or decrease your unit weight or optimum moisture content of the soil. Then what type of a graded soil you are having, whether it is uniformly graded soil, well graded soil, bad graded soil. So that will take then initial part in the soil type. And when in the poorly graded sands, the unit weight initially decreases as the moisture content increases and then increase to the maximum value with the further increase in moisture content. Sand drains the water. If you try to compact it, it will drain the water and it will try to increase the moisture content inside it when the water is entering in the sand. Then the lower moisture content, the capillary tension inhibits the tendency of the soil particles to move around and be compacted. At given moisture content, a clay with low plasticity will be weaker than a heavy or high plastics clay, so it will be easier to compact. So when this is the condition, low plasticity, when you are adding water, the soil will not have any swell shrink property or low property of this, then the compaction will be more easier. And this is how the structure of the soil particles takes place when there is a water content and unit weight. This is the intermediate structure, flocculated structure, honeycomb structure, and this is dispersed structure. So when this type of a condition is there will be low compaction effect, and this type of a structure is there will be high compactive effect. So soil particles takes more important part. So next is your amount of compaction. What type of a compaction you are having? When you are having maximum type of compaction test, n number of times when you are doing the compactive test and you are getting the one higher energy line at the peak of all curves and a zero air void line, then you say that there will be maximum dry density and there will be the decrease in the moisture content. Then there will be the effect of method of compaction. When you are considering such method, then dry density achieved by the soil depends upon the following characteristics: the weight of the compacting equipment, which type of a hammer and drop of hammer you are using, then type of compaction, area of contact, and time of exposure to the air. Then each of these approaches will yield different compactive effect. Further suitability of the particular method depends on the type of soil, whether it is clay soil, granular soil, sandy soil. So it depends totally upon the type of soil you are considering. Then you are having the effect of addition of admixtures. So stabilizing agents are the admixtures added to the soil, and the effect of adding these admixtures is to stabilize the soil. In many cases they accelerate the process of densification. Then you are having the equipments. Field compaction equipments are smooth wheel rollers, pneumatic rollers, bead rollers, stamping rollers, vibrating rollers, and vibratory compactions. Let us see what are the smooth wheel rollers are. So these are the smooth wheel rollers. There are two drums. So there are two drums. One is at the front and another is at the back side. And smooth rollers are having, again there is a container which is taking the soil in a front direction, and there are having the abbreviations on the drum behind it when you are having the clay type of soils. Then you are having the pneumatic rollers. There are such tires in the front side and back side also. So these pneumatic rollers you are having for called as rubber tire rollers. These rollers are used for compaction of coarse grain soils with some fines. These rollers at least suitable for uniform coarse soils or rocks. Pneumatic rollers are used in pavement subgrade works, both earthwork and bituminous works. Pneumatic rollers have wheels on both axles. These are staggered for compaction of soil layers with uniform pressure throughout the width of the roller. So in next class we will study another compaction equipments. Thank you.